majorly focusing on algorithms that we are using. Next, data structures that we use. Because data structures normally we use to identify the data easily, because there are a lot of data that is involved. So data structures, we have different methods, something like AVL tree, I think you know, right? So AVL tree, these are the different methods we do that, data structures all that. Next, we have some design patterns also, right? So what are the different design patterns that we have? So that we need to know. Right? So what are the different design patterns that we are using? Singleton design pattern or factory method. So there are different design patterns that we have. All these things part of low level design. So high level design gives you the high level components and how those are interrelated or interconnected. Low level design details you about the kind of algorithms that we are using, the kind of data structures that we use, the kind of design patterns that we are using. Everything will be part of it. So from the developer side, these data structures we need to focus. Understood. At the same time, the kind of program or the code that we are writing. Okay, the code, right? So whatever the code that everything you need to focus on. Now, if you want to focus on that, what is required? So you required some kind of rules. That's where generally we call it as two kind of rules you will be having. One is about the business rules, and second is called exposure rules. You know that. Okay. We have two different rules. Business rules means for the particular organization, what business rule? For example, commissioning structure that we have initiated. Commissioning structure at the as well as the percentage of the commissioning structure may vary, depends on the type of business or depends on the type of association we have with the people. For example, some insurance commissioning that maybe for a limited amount of the transaction that were made, there won't be no commission for them. So minimum, once they have crossed the minimum amount, then from there onwards, commissioning structure will start, not from the day one. Because this is all depends on the organization to organization. This is all will be varied. This is point number one. Point number two, when it comes to the exposure rules, nothing but the risk that is associated. Okay, whatever the risk that is associated. For example, if you want to, when we are issuing any kind of new plans or something like, so whatever the exposure that is involved. So this is all part of exposure rules. So business rules are different, exposure rules are different. So business rules and exposure rules, usually analyst team will do that, because normally based on the interaction they had with multiple stakeholders and all, they'll be identifying what are the business rules, what are the exposure rules and all will be taken. So whatever the business rules as well as the exposure rules that we so whatever the business rules and as well as exposure rules that we have taken, that will be taken as a parameter to develop the code for the project. This is something being a developer we must do it. So that's the reason why this business flow is required. So for example, when you're talking about a business flow in for guideware billing, right? So for example, when you want to differentiate the type of plans we have and all everything, so the type of plans can be categorized based on the kind of accounts that we have taken, the kind of policies that we have. Again, at the same time, the kind of charges which are involved in the policies, whether it can be because basic premium cost is there. Additional to the basic premium cost, there are some tax percentage will also be added. So the final amount will be shown you as a final this thing. Okay. So policies and as well as charges will be involved. At the same time, the invoices that we are raising, right? So whatever the invoice that we have raised is to the acceptance of the billing that we want to make, or the kind of payments or claim disbursements. So these are the different business flows normally we have when we are identifying about the different type of plans normally we have.